Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. True God in Another Worlds, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Chapter 34. Familiar girl. Rimuru paused the next morning, as the soft, golden glow of dawn began to paint the sky in hues of pink and orange. I slowly emerged from the depths of slumber. Blinking away the remnants of sleep, I found myself greeted by a breathtaking sight. A sprawling canvas of twinkling stars that hadn't yet faded in the light of the approaching day. Their ethereal beauty momentarily captivated me, allowing me a serene moment of reflection before my gaze drifted towards the slumbering figures of Jasmine and Arthur, their faces peaceful and undisturbed by the waking world. Stiffness enveloped my body, remnants of yesterday's arduous battle. With a determined resolve, I mustered the strength to rise from the comfort of my makeshift bed, the rough and worn fabric scraping against my skin. I stretched, feeling the tightness slowly ebb away as my muscles responded to the movement. A gentle breeze, cool and refreshing, whispered through the trees, carrying the scent of damp earth and morning dew, its touch caressing my face and prompting me to venture forth in search of firewood. As I ventured further from our campsite, the forest embraced me, its rustling leaves and the gentle sway of the branches above creating a symphony of nature. The air was alive with the sound of distant birdsong, the rhythmic hum of insects, and the distant rush of a nearby river. Scouring the forest floor like a diligent hunter, I meticulously searched for the perfect pieces of weathered branches and discarded logs, my fingertips brushing against the rough textures as I carefully chose wood that would provide a steady flame. Satisfied with my findings, I made my way back to the campsite, the weight of my collection increasing with each step. Kneeling beside the remnants of last night's fire pit, the darkened ash contrasting against the surrounding earth, I meticulously chopped the collected wood into manageable pieces, the sound of the blade biting through the aged, weathered bark filling the morning air. Piece by piece, I arranged them into a small pile atop the ashes, the smell of freshly cut wood mingling with the subtle scent of smoke that still hung in the air. With practiced ease, I used fire magic, the flickering flame at the tip of my fingers quickly devouring the dry kindling until a warm, crackling fire emerged, offering respite from the chill of the morning. Having completed my initial tasks, my attention shifted to Seal. Slumber had become her faithful companion, her watchful eyes growing heavy with fatigue. Knowing the lengths she had gone to protect me, I had convinced her to rest simultaneously, assuring her that her eternal vigilance was unnecessary when I slumbered. Reassured by her peaceful breathing, I offered a soft smile, grateful for her unwavering loyalty. With moments of tranquility allotted to introspection, I settled into a focused state, determined to prime my mind and body for the challenges ahead. Unsheathing my trusty sword, its blade glinting in the early morning light, I choreographed a dance in the empty air, each movement honed through countless battles. My muscles strained and my senses heightened as I immersed myself in the rhythmic flow of the practiced routine, the graceful arcs and swift strikes creating a visual symphony of combat. Beyond physical prowess, honing my mastery over mana and harnessing its depths burned at the core of my being. Channeling the arcane energies that coursed within, I endeavored to refine my control, seeking seamless manipulation. With each ethereal eruption and delicate manipulation, I savored the satisfaction that accompanied success, knowing the untapped potential it heralded. The passage of time, marked by the gradual ascent of the sun, went unnoticed as my exploration of magic continued unabated. Threads of elemental forces entwined in a symphony of power, as I wove new spells with complex combinations. In these stolen moments of solitude, I reveled in the pursuit of supremacy, desiring spells that would grant us an indispensable edge in our battles yet to come. Lost in my enchantments, the sun's warm caress on my back signaled that morning had yielded to late hours. Hunger, relentless and persistent, gripped my senses, urging me to tend to our physical needs. Cooking held a special place in my heart, and I delighted in surpassing Shuna's culinary prowess. Yet, with the constraints of time weighing upon me, I resolved to create a simple morning meal that would sat our appetites and restore our energy. Guided by my senses and my memory, I navigated the familiar path to the nearby river where, just yesterday, our fortune had brought forth an abundance of fish. With a keen eye and swift reflexes, I delved into the cold, rushing waters, the liquid silver of the fish shimmering under the sunlight. With a swift movement, I snatched up the slippery creatures, their scales glistening with droplets of water, effectively securing our breakfast. As I arrived back at the camp, the morning sun cast its golden rays upon the clearing, painting the surroundings with a warm, inviting glow. The vivid green of the trees was illuminated, their leaves shimmering in the gentle light. The air was crisp and carried a sweet scent of dew and nature. I glanced over to Jasmine, who was slowly awakening from her slumber. Her long, dark eyelashes fluttered as her consciousness gradually returned, revealing her mesmerizing red eyes. A loving smile spread across my face as I greeted her. "Good morning, Jasmine," I said, my voice filled with genuine warmth. "I hope you had a restful sleep." Stretching her limbs and releasing a contented yawn, Jasmine's eyes sparkled with a mix of sleepiness and curiosity. "Good morning, Ree. Did you catch those fish yourself?" she asked, her gaze fixed on my hands as I skillfully prepared our morning meal. "Yes, indeed. Freshly caught fish for breakfast," I replied with a nod of satisfaction. As I deftly cleaned and seasoned the fish, Jasmine moved closer, her graceful movements mirrored mine as she assisted in the task. The scent of the ocean mingled with the earthy aroma of herbs, creating an irresistible fragrance that wafted through the air. As the delicious scent wafted through the surrounding area, Arthur stirred from his slumber, lured by its enticing allure. He joined us by the crackling campfire, his eyes lighting up with delight at the sight of perfectly cooked fish. We gathered around the fire. Laughter filled the air, harmonizing with the fire's gentle crackle, as we exchanged stories and made plans for the day ahead. With our satiated appetites and remnants of breakfast properly put away, we decided it was time to freshen up. We extinguished the roaring flames of the fire with a splash of cool water, ensuring its embers were safely extinguished. Making our way to a nearby stream, we reveled in the soothing babble of its crystal-clear waters as they flowed gracefully over smooth rocks. Arthur turned to Jasmine, curiosity lacing his voice. "So, what adventures do we have planned for today?" A mischievous glint danced in Jasmine's eyes as she locked gazes with Arthur. "Today, you and I will spar," she declared, her tone leaving no room for rebuttal. Arthur's eyebrows shot up in surprise, a mixture of confusion and anticipation playing upon his face. "Huh? Spar?" he echoed, his curiosity fully piqued. Jasmine grinned, her voice firm and unwavering. "Indeed. This clearing is situated close to the dungeon we intend to explore. For the next few days, I want us to focus on our combat skills, specifically by sparring with each other. We shall refrain from using any form of mana during these sessions." With a swift motion, she unsheathed her two daggers, their polished steel gleaming brilliantly under the warm rays of the morning sun. Jasmine pointed one of them towards us before elaborating. "In these sparring sessions, we will strictly rely on our physical prowess, without utilizing any form of mana." I wholeheartedly agreed with Jasmine's plan, and Arthur seemed equally eager to embark upon this training. Despite having grown accustomed to my new body, I realized that relying solely on the swordsmanship skills I had acquired from Hakuro would not be enough to thrive in this unfamiliar world. It was essential for me to adapt, to learn and incorporate the unique abilities and techniques native to this land into my own repertoire. There were two main reasons behind my decision. Firstly, my real body had the remarkable flexibility of slime and the incredible toughness of a dragon, which presented me with opportunities to explore techniques that were far beyond the limits of an ordinary swordsman. And secondly, the magic system in this world differed significantly from the one I was accustomed to in the cardinal world. With these factors in mind, I resolved to focus my efforts on creating a new art that would better suit the capabilities of my body and align with the magic system here. This time, however, I decided not to seek Ciel's assistance as I had done when developing the Tempest art, my strongest technique thus far. "Good idea," Arthur chimed in, his hand instinctively moving to unsheathe his short sword. His eyes were alight with determination. Jasmine chimed in, her eyes glancing towards Dawn's ballad, "Use your other sword." Surprised by her knowledge, Arthur's eyebrows furrowed as he asked, "How did you know this was a sword?" Jasmine shrugged dismissively, taking a few steps away from us. "Knowing you, that black stick should be something more than just a cane or a practice stick." Arthur nodded, acknowledging the truth in her words. With newfound conviction, he tossed his short sword near the comforting warmth of the campfire, its metal gleaming under the gentle flicker of the flames. As he drew out Dawn's ballad, the translucent blade emitted a breathtaking glow, the delicate shade of teal dancing with the reflections of the sun's rays. Taking his stance, Arthur announced confidently, his voice steady and unwavering, "Ready when you are." Jasmine's initial hesitation gave way to determination as her gaze remained transfixed on the mesmerizing gleam of Dawn's ballad. "Why yeah," she responded, her voice gaining strength and resolve. With a deep breath, she took a step forward, her hand resting on the hilt of her own dagger. I stood at a safe distance, eager to witness the start of their sparring match. The anticipation hung thick in the air as Arthur tightened his grip on his longsword, the polished hilt cool against his palm. Every muscle in his body was primed for action, his mind focused solely on the task at hand. Jasmine, composed and ready, poised herself with her twin daggers at the ready, the sunlight reflecting off the gleaming blades, casting glimmers of light in every direction. Her eyes were sharp and determined, scanning Arthur's form for any signs of weakness. With a surge of strength, Arthur swung his sword towards Jasmine, his force evident in the swift motion. The metal blade sliced through the air, emitting a resounding whoosh as it cut through its path. Yet I watched in awe as Jasmine effortlessly dodged the attack with a fluidity that seemed almost ethereal. Her lithe form moved with grace, swaying seamlessly out of harm's way. The daggers in her hands moved with precision, expertly blocking any other strikes that followed, the metal clashing with a captivating symphony of sound. It was clear that Jasmine was not only skilled, but also calculative, analyzing Arthur's every move with a keen eye. With her dancer's grace, she danced around him, her every step deliberate, her every action purposeful. She searched for the vulnerable spots she could exploit, her mind sharp and strategic. Jasmine, a paragon of grace and swiftness, retaliated with lightning-fast counterattacks that left Arthur scrambling to defend himself. The clash of their weapons reverberated through the training grounds, resonating with the intensity of their battle. I couldn't help but admire the incredible finesse Jasmine displayed as she relentlessly pressed her advantage, pushing Arthur to his limits. Each strike was aimed with precision, each move calculated to wound or disarm. In a split second, Arthur lunged forward, his determined eyes fixed on Jasmine, determined to gain the upper hand. However, just as he was about to strike, Jasmine skillfully swung her daggers in a wide arc, successfully parrying his attack and sending the blade of his sword crashing into the unforgiving ground. The impact reverberated through Arthur's arms, causing a jolt of pain to course through his body. But the pain only fueled his determination. Arthur, a testament to his resilience, managed to maintain his balance and swiftly retrieved his weapon. He could feel the strain in his arms, an ache settling in from the rapid succession of movements, but he refused to yield. Determined, he positioned his sword defensively, prepared to withstand any further assaults. Jasmine, sensing an opportunity, moved in for a final, decisive strike. She was a blur of motion, her daggers glinting in the sunlight as she executed a complex series of slashes and feints. Yet, Arthur's focus was unyielding. With remarkable skill, he deflected each of her attacks, his movements becoming more fluid and instinctual as the battle wore on. He refused to surrender despite the odds stacked against him. His arms were burning from the quick, consecutive movements. Beads of sweat formed on his brow, his breaths coming out in heavy pants, but his resolve did not falter. Arthur positioned his sword in a defensive stance, using every ounce of strength he had left to ward off Jasmine's relentless assault. "It's my win," Jasmine proclaimed confidently, elegantly sheathing her daggers into their scabbards attached to her thighs. Her chest rose and fell with each deep breath, her red eyes gleaming with satisfaction. A flicker of amusement danced in Arthur's eyes as he dropped his longsword to the ground, his muscles trembling with fatigue. "You're right," he chuckled, his voice tinged with undeniable admiration. "You truly are formidable, Jasmine." A mischievous smile tugged at the corner of my lips as I interjected, breaking the tension that hung in the air. "Hey, Jasmine. I think we should continue like this for a couple of days." Her stoic expression broke, replaced with a nod of agreement. Curiosity gleamed in Jasmine's eyes as she inquired, her voice laced with intrigue. "How long do you think you guys will need to get accustomed?" Arthur and I exchanged a knowing glance, a silent communication passing between us. "A little less than 2 years," I replied confidently, knowing that for me it would likely be closer to a year, while Arthur would require the full 2 years to reach our goals. I could see surprise flash across Jasmine's face, her stoicism momentarily shattered. "That's all?" she exclaimed, unable to hide her astonishment. The smirk on Arthur's face grew wider. "Just watch," he proclaimed, his eyes gleaming with a newfound confidence. And with that, we prepared ourselves for the arduous training that lay ahead, a shared determination burning bright within us. 6 months later. 6 long and grueling months had passed since Art and I embarked on this arduous journey with Jasmine. We had made the decision to push ourselves to the limits by training without using our mana, and the results were both challenging and rewarding. The absence of our magical energy left us feeling sluggish and lethargic during our practice sessions, but it also pushed us to our limits, forcing us to rely solely on our physical abilities. When we first began our adventure, Jasmine was at the solid yellow stage. Art, on the other hand, was at the light red stage. But perseverance and hard work paid off, as Jasmine's core had recently made the breakthrough into the light yellow stage. Art, still pushing himself further, found himself at the dark orange stage, showcasing his relentless determination. As for me, I remained in the light yellow stage. Instead, I shifted my focus towards perfecting my sword techniques and merging them with my newfound magic. It became my quest to create powerful and innovative moves, weaving together the two distinct parts of my being into a seamless dance of strength and elegance. The hours bled into each other as I practiced ceaselessly, meticulously going over every motion and perfecting every strike until my efforts bore fruit. The satisfaction that came with each improvement was addictively sweet, and it fueled my determination to reach new heights. Despite completely adapting to my new physique, I still needed to modify my tactics to fit my smaller frame. It was a work in progress, and I still had a ways to go before I was at my peak. Our recent conquest of a treacherous dungeon left us weary and in need of respite. We decided to head home, and the road led us to the teleportation gate to Xyrus. Stepping through the gateway, we emerged into the familiar sights and sounds of a bustling city, filled with the vibrant energy of its inhabitants. We boarded a picturesque carriage bound for Helsta Manor. As the carriage trundled along, I removed my mask and carefully stowed it away in my ring, feeling a wave of profound relaxation wash over me. Art sat in front of me, his expression a mix of exhaustion and contentment, mirroring my own emotions. Meanwhile, Jasmine took charge of selling the valuable cores we had collected within the guild, ensuring that our efforts would not go to waste. Minutes turned into a leisurely journey, and before we knew it, we arrived at the elegant gates of Helsta Manor. Stepping out of the carriage, we were greeted by the warm smile of the maid, her respectful bow a testament to the air of dignity that surrounded her. "Welcome back, Mr. Rimuru, Mr. Arthur," she greeted us, her gentle voice filled with warmth and sincerity. The excitement in her eyes and the genuine smile on her face made us feel instantly at ease. "It's so wonderful to have you both home again." Everyone is currently gathered in the spacious backyard, enjoying some quality time together. We smiled at her and followed her lead to the backyard, the sound of laughter and joyful chatter growing louder with each step. As we reached the open space, the vibrant colors of flowers in bloom and the gentle rustling of leaves greeted us. Our family and Helsti's family were gathered there, the air buzzed with cheerful chatter and laughter, creating a symphony of joy that filled the space. In the center of it all, a captivating sparring match was underway between our father and Lily. The progress they had made in their fighting abilities was evident, with each strike and parry executed flawlessly. Beads of sweat glistened on their brows, a testament to their dedication and hard work. My father had taken upon himself the role of training Lily in hand-to-hand combat in my absence, and it was clear to see that his guidance had paid off. "You both have improved so much," I exclaimed, unable to contain my excitement and admiration. Everyone turned their attention towards us, their faces lighting up with smiles as they welcomed us back with open arms. The sight of our mother catching sight of us was priceless. Her eyes widened, and she hurriedly made her way towards us, the vibrant fabric of her sundress swaying with each step, until she reached us and enveloped us in a tight, loving embrace. "My sons," she shouted, her voice filled with a mix of joy, relief, and motherly love. "How dearly I missed you. What a delightful surprise to see you both here." Tears of happiness threatened to spill from her eyes as she held us close, her hands trembling ever so slightly. In that moment, I couldn't help but be overwhelmed with gratitude for the love and warmth that surrounded us. "We missed you too, Mom," I gasped, my heart swelling with affection as I returned her hug wholeheartedly. "We just finished up the adventure and decided to come back home for a bit." "That's wonderful news," our father chimed in, joining in the hug. His strong arms wrapped around us, the scent of earth and hard work mingling with the comforting scent of home. We're always thrilled to have our children back safely under our roof. As our parents released us from their loving embrace, my eyes were instantly drawn to Ellie, our little sister, who leapt into our arms. Her laughter filled the air, a sweet melody that warmed our hearts. Her genuine excitement and happiness were contagious. "Welcome back, brothers," she exclaimed, her voice filled with pure joy and love. "It's so great to be back," Art exclaimed, his voice resonating with affection, as he patted Ellie's head lovingly. In that moment, I couldn't resist the urge to twirl her around in the air, eliciting even more infectious laughter from her. Ellie's eyes shimmered with excitement and contentment as I gently placed her back on the ground. "I brought some candy," I revealed with a mischievous grin. Her joy couldn't be contained as she clapped her hands gleefully. "Yay, candy!" Handing her the bag, I couldn't help but mirror her enthusiasm. "I made sure to get all your absolute favorite treats." "Thank you, big brother." Ellie beamed. She smiled as bright as the sun, as she eagerly tore open the bag and savored the delightful sweetness within. Moments later, Lily approached me, with excitement radiating from her every pore. She hurried over to me and pulled me into a tight embrace. "Rimuru," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with happiness, forming beautiful crescent moons. Her long, silky hair cascaded down her back, swaying slightly with each movement. Returning her embrace, I couldn't help but felt a rush of pride for her incredible growth and hard work. "I see you've been working tirelessly on honing your skills," I said, a small smirk forming on my lips. "You put up an impressive fight against Dad earlier." Lily's cheeks turned a shade of rosy pink. Her eyes gleamed with a mix of delight and self-assurance. "Thank you. I've been pushing myself every day to keep up with everyone, and it's paying off." As Aunt Tabitha and Uncle Vincent joined in our joyous family reunion, their smiles were filled with warmth and genuine affection. "Welcome back, Rimuru and Arthur," Aunt Tabitha said, her voice exuding warmth and affection, like a soft, comforting melody. "Rimuru, Arthur, you're finally back," Uncle Vincent greeted us enthusiastically, his voice filled with equal parts pride and happiness. He patted our shoulders firmly, the strength of his grip mirroring his unwavering support. Art's infectious grin widened, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "It's truly good to see you again, Uncle Vincent." I couldn't help but mirror his grin, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. "And you too, Aunt Tabitha," I said, my voice tinged with equal parts joy and warmth. I returned her genuine smile, a smile that brought back waves of cherished memories. Between munching on candy, my mischievous sister couldn't help but inquire about Sylvie, her worry and concern evident on her face. "Where is Sylvie?" "Sylvie is in Beast Glades," I responded gently, my voice filled with reassurance. The soft breeze brushed against my face, tugging gently at my hair. Mom couldn't hide her concern, her brows furrowing slightly. Worry lines etched themselves onto her forehead, betraying the subtle signs of anxiety. "But Rimuru, isn't it dangerous for her to be alone? Shouldn't we bring her back?" I placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, the warmth from her skin seeping into mine. I looked her in the eyes, conveying my unwavering trust and belief in Sylvie. "Please don't worry, Mom. Sylvie is more than capable of handling herself. She's grown immensely both in strength and wisdom. She knows when to retreat and how to navigate the dangers of Beast Glades." My voice carried the conviction of absolute certainty. Dad interjected, his curiosity piqued. His eyes crinkled with anticipation, and a mischievous smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "Anyway, sons, tell us about your adventures. We're dying to hear about it." My brother and I exchanged glances, both amused and humbled by our father's genuine excitement. Art ran a hand through his unruly hair, a playful glint in his eyes. "Oh, but do you want us to start at the very beginning, or do you want us to tell you how things are currently unfolding?" he asked, his voice pulsating with anticipation. Our dad laughed heartily, a rich, warm sound that blended harmoniously with the summer breeze. "The beginning. We want to hear all the thrilling details." I chuckled softly, relishing in the joy that enveloped our backyard. "All right. Well, the moment we set foot in the grandiose guild headquarters, we knew we were in for a mind-bending experience," I began, the excitement of those initial moments still palpable in my voice. As I wove a tapestry of our adventures from the very inception, a hushed silence fell upon the crowd gathering in our backyard. Each word seemed to paint vibrant strokes on the canvas of their imagination, holding them captive in a realm of swords, magic, and untold possibilities. Time seemed to dissolve into thin air as we regaled our family with story after story. Laughter reverberated through the air, mingling with gasps of surprise and suspense. The intensity of our narratives captured their hearts, and the glimmer of awe and admiration danced in their eyes. With every tale reaching its crescendo, my mother's insatiable curiosity could no longer be restrained. Her eyes shone with anticipation, eager to unearth a missing piece of the puzzle. "Oh, by the way, what are your adventurer names? You never told us before you embarked on this incredible journey." "Well, my adventurer name is Noir, and Art's adventurer name is Note," I shared. Aunt Tabitha chuckled, expressing her amazement. "Art might be a prodigy like you, Rimuru, but when it comes to choosing names," she trailed off, her eyes twinkling with affectionate amusement. This light-hearted remark triggered a chorus of laughter, rippling through the gathering like a joyous melody. My mother joined in, her laughter a melody of love and happiness, as she teasingly nudged our father. "Yes, Reynolds, it seems Art has inherited your naming skills. Arthur is truly your son," she chimed, her words wrapped in affection. A hint of embarrassment flashed across our father's and Art's faces, their cheeks turning a soft shade of crimson. Our father playfully pouted, attempting to defend himself. "I'm not that bad with names," he protested, his voice laced with a mixture of mock offense and genuine humility. His defense, however, only elicited an even heartier round of laughter from all of us. As the night progressed, we indulged in the delectable feast prepared by my mother's skilled hands. The fragrant aromas mingled with the melodic symphony of conversation, filling the air with a sense of contentment and belonging. We shared memories, created new ones, and simply reveled in the timeless bond of family. As the night gradually drew to a close, we bid each other good night, wrapping ourselves in the embrace of gratitude for the warmth and love that awaited us at home. Dash 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 dash. Arthur Pav. After a blissful night's sleep, I slowly emerged from the depths of slumber, my body and mind feeling revitalized, as if a surge of renewed energy coursed through my veins. As my heavy eyelids fluttered open, I immediately noticed the room awash in a soft, golden glow, courtesy of the radiant sunlight gently and playfully filtering through the billowing silk curtains. The exquisite patterns on the delicate fabric danced with each passing breeze, casting intricate shadows that seemed to invite me to embrace the new day. A quiet creak of the polished mahogany floor beneath me jolted me into awareness that I was not the only one rousing at this early hour. I glanced towards the spot where my brother had slept, only to find it vacant, the indentations of his body now erased as if he had never occupied the space at all. Curiosity ignited within me, mingling with the fresh surge of energy, urging me to explore the mysterious morning unfolding before me. Throwing open the ornate, hand-woven curtains with a newfound enthusiasm, I welcomed the sun's rays that delicately caressed my face, warming my skin with their gentle touch. A current of invigorating chill, reminiscent of a lively mountain breeze, rustled the curtains and danced across my sensitive skin, eliciting a cascade of goosebumps and intensifying my senses. I breathed in deeply, allowing the crisp morning air to fill my lungs, its freshness carrying a subtle yet enchanting floral scent that wafted from the garden below. To fully awaken my senses and completely embrace the day, I decided to take a quick shower. As I stepped into the lavish bathroom, the sound of water cascading from the rainfall showerhead greeted me like a soothing symphony, its rhythmic melody gently cleansing away the last remnants of sleep clinging to my body. Each droplet that fell upon my skin felt like a mini awakening, a gentle jolt reminding me that this was a brand new day. The steam that rose around me embraced my body like a comforting cocoon, caressing my skin with its warmth and encasing me in a tranquil embrace. As I luxuriated in the sensation of the warm water cascading over me, I could feel any lingering weariness being washed away, replaced by a revitalized and invigorated spirit that welled up from within me. The shower transformed into a realm of sensory rejuvenation, where the weight of the world seemed to dissolve with the suds and disappear down the drain. Stepping out of the revitalizing shower, I reached for the plush, oversized towel, relishing in its softness as it enveloped me in a comforting embrace. I stole a moment to catch my reflection in the full-length mirror. The physical transformation I observed was only a reflection of the inner transformation that had taken place. Gone were the remnants of exhaustion, replaced by a renewed sense of confidence that radiated from within. The smile that tugged at the corners of my lips spoke volumes. It was a smile of contentment and inner peace. Taking a deep breath, feeling the revitalizing energy pulsating through my veins, I left the room and descended the grand staircase. To my delight, I was greeted by the ethereal sight of Lilia emerging from her own chamber, her beauty exuding a serene radiance that complemented the early morning light. The faint tendrils of sleep still clung delicately to her alabaster skin, making her appear even more enchanting. Her dark brown curls, artfully tousled yet effortlessly elegant, tumbled down her shoulders and framed her joyful countenance. The soft glow of her porcelain complexion seemed to harmonize with the gentle awakening of nature outside, casting a mesmerizing aura around her. It was as if she embodied the gentle transition from night to day, her presence a perfect reflection of the enchanting atmosphere surrounding us. With a tender smile gracing her lips, she greeted me, her voice a whisper that seemed to dance alongside the gentle stirring of nature. "Good morning, Arthur. Did you sleep well?" Her question was laced with genuine care and attention. Returning her smile, I reciprocated her warm salutation, my gratitude evident in my voice. "I did. Thank you." The genuine warmth in my reply stemmed from the profound appreciation I held for the transformative power of a truly restful slumber. "Have you seen Rimuru this morning?" Lilia gently shook her head, a glimmer of curiosity lighting up her eyes, blending perfectly with the playful hues of morning light. The sun-kissed tendrils of her hair swayed as she did so, catching the sparkling ambient light that filtered through the opulent chandelier dangling above us. "No, I haven't," she confessed, her tone tinged with intrigue. "But knowing Rimuru, he's likely training in the backyard." A sense of agreement settled within me as I nodded, acknowledging the truth her words held. A contented sigh escaped my lips, mirroring the enchanting ambiance surrounding us. "Ah, you're probably right," I replied. With Lilia by my side, we leisurely strolled towards the inciting aroma of freshly brewed coffee and a richly laden breakfast buffet. The grand corridors of the home echoed with the harmonious melody of our footsteps, a symphony that seemed to resound throughout the opulent estate. As we sauntered side by side, the delicate tendrils of curiosity wound their way through my mind, compelling me to inquire about Lilia's progress in her magical pursuits. "By the way, Lilia," I began, my words laced with genuine interest, "can you now manipulate any elemental magic? How is your training advancing?" A subtle shake of her head, accompanied by a wistful sigh that harmonized with the gentle morning breeze flowing through an open archway, revealed the disappointing outcome of her endeavors. "Unfortunately not," Lilia confessed, her voice a delicate whisper, threaded with a touch of lingering disappointment swiftly overtaken by unwavering determination. "However, your father has reassured me that the path to unlocking my elemental potential lies just on the horizon." A tender smile graced my lips, admiration gleaming within my gaze as I reached out and bestowed a nurturing pat on her back, a gesture intended to offer solace and reassurance. "That is truly wonderful to hear," I said, my voice a warm embrace of encouragement. "I'm sure that with your dedication, you'll be able to use elemental magic in no time considering that you are now at the solid red stage. I believe in you, Lilia." Lilia's countenance blossomed with gratitude, her eyes mirroring the flickering candlelight that danced within them, a shimmering reflection of her resolute determination. "I sincerely hope so," she responded, her voice tinged with radiant hope. As we approached the grand dining room, the heady aroma of a delectable feast enveloped our senses, coaxing our appetites to life. The polished wooden table, resplendent in its grandeur, shimmered beneath the soft illumination of an exquisite chandelier, adorned with delicate crystal droplets that swayed in an ethereal ballet of light. Nestling into our plush seats, the supple velvet fabric embraced our bodies, offering a cocoon of comfort. The rest of the family had already gathered, their smiles radiant and welcoming, while their eyes shimmered with an inquisitive anticipation. Yet, amidst the symphony of laughter and lively conversation, an undeniable absence hung in the air, a void as conspicuous as a missing piece in a meticulously crafted masterpiece. Intrigued and unable to contain my query any longer, I turned to my mother. "Where is Rimuru?" I asked. My mother responded, her tone composed and deliberate as she delicately savored a sip of her tea. He departed early this morning, leaving no trace of his destination or purpose. Oh, okay, I said. I couldn't help but wonder if Rimuru had gone off to see Sylvia. We chatted over breakfast, discussing various topics. As the last morsels of our breakfast disappeared from our plates, my father and Uncle Vincent rose from their seats, their chairs scraping against the tiled floor. They exchanged quick pleasantries before excusing themselves, prepared to embark on their respective work for the day. With a final wave, they disappeared from the dining room, leaving the rest of us in a state of post-meal contentment. We migrated towards the living room. Plush sofas lined the walls, their velvety texture inviting us to sink into their embrace. One by one, we settled into the comfortable cushions, each of us with a steaming cup of coffee clasped in our hands. The room exuded an air of tranquility, the only sounds being the hushed whispers of conversation and the gentle hum of the passing breeze through the open windows. Conversations ebbed and flowed, meandering through an array of topics with no particular destination in mind. The rich tapestry of voices intertwined, creating a symphony of thoughts and emotions. Laughter danced in the air, punctuating the tranquil atmosphere, as stories and anecdotes were shared amongst us. However, as if reality had decided to shatter the idyllic reverie, a sudden, jarring thump resounded through the house. The vibrant peace was abruptly disrupted, leaving us in a state of startled bewilderment. Our eyes widened in curiosity, searching for answers within the shared silence, as an unspoken question hung in the air like a wisp of smoke. With a unified sense of urgency, we abandoned our half-empty coffee cups on the nearest side table, their contents waiting to be savored. We darted through the living room, our footsteps resonating through the house, their echoes magnified by the polished wooden floors. Anticipation and concern knotted together with each step, pulling at our heartstrings like a gentle tug. The front door swung wide open, revealing a scene that brought us to a collective standstill. The usually composed maid stood frozen, her gaze fixed upon the doorway with an expression of shock. Surrounding her were remnants of shattered dishes, strewn across the floor in a reckless cascade. And there, in the midst of the chaos, stood Rimuru. His presence was awkward, his head rubbed sheepishly, as if bearing the weight of unexpected consequences. But it was the girl standing beside him that captured our attention, her ethereal beauty a sight to behold. With cascading silver strands that flowed like molten moonlight, she possessed an otherworldly allure. Her eyes, a deep crimson reminiscent of smoldering embers, held a mesmerizing enigma that drew us in. A captivating charm enveloped her, radiating an aura both mysterious and alluring. Although a sense of familiarity tugged at the corners of my memories, I struggled to recall the precise moment my paths had crossed. A heavy silence hung in the air as the intensity of our gaze bore down on Rimuru. My mother was the first to break the silence. Her eyes narrowed, a mixture of curiosity and suspicion etched on her face as she demanded answers. Her voice cut throughout the air with a no-nonsense tone, leaving no room for ambiguity. Rimuru, who is this girl? She inquired, her words laced with urgency. Rimuru shifted uncomfortably, his feet shuffling as he struggled to find the right words. The weight of our expectant stares seemed to press down on him, tension palpable in the air. His voice, barely above a whisper, carried a plea for understanding. Can we please go into the living room first? A whirlwind of thoughts swirled through my mind, a mix of frustration and curiosity. Why had Rimuru brought another girl into our home? Hadn't he confessed his love to Seal just 6 months ago? Doubts filled my thoughts, clouding my judgment. Yet, amidst the chaos of my own conflicting emotions, I reached out to Rimuru mentally, curiosity getting the best of me. What's going on, Rimuru? I asked, my thoughts projecting towards him, seeking answers in the depths of his mind. He responded almost immediately, his thoughts echoing in my consciousness. Well, this is Seal, he explained calmly. She said that she wanted to live with me instead of staying in my soul. Surprised by his response, I couldn't help but interject. But didn't she look like you before? Before Rimuru could reply, Seal interjected into our mental conversation, her presence weaving seamlessly into our thoughts. I've changed my appearance slightly. I didn't want to arouse suspicion among your family members, she explained, her voice calm and soothing. With newfound understanding, I nodded to myself, accepting this explanation of Ciel's altered appearance. I knew that we needed to press play in this unfolding drama. Reluctantly, we filed into the living room, our footsteps the only sound breaking the silence of the room. The polished wooden floor seemed to amplify the weight of our thoughts and emotions, heightening the significance of this confrontation. My mother settled into the comfort of an armchair, her poised posture conveying unwavering determination as she fixed her gaze on Rimuru. The impatience in her voice was palpable as she pressed for an explanation, leaving no room for further delay. Well, she demanded, the single word hanging in the air, pregnant with expectation. Rimuru swallowed hard, the audible sound of his throat clearing as he gathered his thoughts. Her name is Ciel. I saved her from a perilous situation, he began, his voice filled with conviction. He proceeded to recount the events that had unfolded earlier that day. I was strolling along when I stumbled upon a group of menacing men attempting to kidnap her. Instinct kicked in, and I intervened, rescuing her from their clutches. She expressed a desire to accompany me, explaining that she lacked a home or family. Moved by her vulnerable circumstances, I agreed to let her stay. Unable to hold back my thoughts, I interjected once more, my voice filled with a mix of disbelief and frustration. Really, Rimuru, couldn't you come up with a better explanation? Unleashing a steely glare in response, Rimuru's annoyance flickered in his eyes, though he remained composed. If you have a better plan, I'm all ears, he retorted mentally, his frustration palpable even through our mental connection. The room fell into absolute silence, the weight of the tension becoming almost suffocating as my mother carefully considered Rimuru's unexpected request. Her brows furrowed in deep concentration, a delicate balance of admonishment and kindness threading through her voice as she finally spoke. The flickering light from the chandelier above cast a soft glow on her worried expression. Well, Rimuru, she began, her tone a mixture of concern and understanding, I appreciate your boundless compassion for others. However, it would have been more appropriate if you had informed us beforehand. After all, this is not our house to whimsically bring guests to. Aunt Tabitha gracefully placed a comforting hand on my mother's shoulder. Her touch was gentle and reassuring. It's okay, she interjected, her voice velvety and soothing as if casting a balm on the growing tension. We were actually planning to clear out some old belongings from the unused rooms anyway. So, there will be more than enough space for her to stay. My mother, her protective instincts intertwined with worry, couldn't easily be swayed. Worried lines etched themselves deeper into her face as she voiced her concerns. But, she started, her voice faltering, as if searching for the right words to express her unease. Sensing my mother's hesitance, Aunt Tabitha gently pressed on, her voice firm yet laced with a soothing presence. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Rimuru's act was driven purely by compassion. We should look past the unexpectedness of it all and welcome her with open arms, making her feel at home. Agreeing with my aunt's words, I offered my support in diffusing the tension. Aunt Tabitha is right, I chimed in, eager to alleviate the mounting unease. Welcome, Ciel. My name is Arthur, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Ciel remained silent, her acknowledgement conveyed through a simple nod. Suddenly, Ellie, who had been sitting quietly between Lilia and me, sprang onto our brother's lap. Her small arms wrapped tightly around him, her vibrant brown eyes fixating intensely on Ciel with a mix of curiosity and protectiveness. Her voice, despite her small stature, carried a fierce and determined tone as she demanded, her voice filled with determination, "Who are you to be hugging my brother?" A soft chuckle escaped Rimuru's lips, his warm, gentle hands gently patting Ellie's head. "It's okay, Ellie. This is Ciel," he said, nodding towards the silver-haired girl beside him, "and she'll be staying with us now." Defiantly crossing her small arms, Ellie jutted out her bottom lip in a stubborn pout, her cheeks flushed with frustration. "Fine," she huffed, her voice laced with indignation. "But you better not steal my big brother away from me." Ciel, her expression still inscrutable, met Ellie's gaze and managed a small smile, her silver hair shimmering under the soft light. As we all introduced ourselves one by one, there was an underlying aura of curiosity mingled with unease that settled upon us, like a delicate veil hanging in the air. Attempting to lighten the tense atmosphere, Aunt Tabitha initiated a conversation, her voice filled with genuine interest. "Ciel," she started, her voice carrying a gentle tone, "where are you from?" Ciel hesitated, her eyes flickering nervously. a slight tremor in her hands. I don't remember, she admitted softly, her voice trembling with vulnerability. You don't remember? My mother echoed, surprise etched on her face, her brows knitted together in concern. Seal nodded, her gaze downcast, strands of silver hair cascading delicately around her face. No, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't. Feeling a surge of empathy, Aunt Tabitha's voice was filled with comforting warmth as she reassured Seal, her voice gentle and soothing. Don't worry, dear, she said with a reassuring smile. You're safe here with us, and we'll do everything we can to help you remember your past. Gratefulness shone in Ciel's red eyes, her lips curving into a small, genuine smile. Thank you, she murmured softly, her voice filled with gratitude and uncertainty.